we are going to talk about proportion today. So with that, in front of me, I have an actual spray bottle. I also have this reference picture if you don't have one at home. If you're in class, you're going to draw this with me. If you're at home, I would love for you to have one in front of you, but if you don't have one, you can always print off the reference picture or look at it. So what we're going to do, you're going to use your pencil to measure how many tops tall is the spray bottle. So you take your pencil and you take the end of it to the left side, and then I'm going to move my thumb to where the nozzle stops on the right side. Okay? So once you get that and you're comfortable, don't move your thumb, and then we're going to do this. Now line up the top with the top of the pencil. And then pay attention, my thumb comes around below that green area. So then I'm going to move down. So what I did there was that's 1. This will be 2. And then I'm noticing where my thumb is with the tape there. And then that would be 3. It's really like 2.5. So 1 measurement of the top of the spray bottle. So that's 1. Then I'm going to go 1, 2, oh, how did I do that? 1, 2, 2.5, 3/4, okay? So with that, when I'm on my paper here, you're going to have to decide how wide you're going to make your spray bottle on your own. You could decide your spray bottle is going to be that big, wide. Or you could decide, I'm going to make it taller, it's going to be that wide. So what we do now is we know that one of these, the bottle is actually 2, almost 3 of these tall. So you're going to take your pencil here, line it up to the left side, take your thumb, and not use this finger, and don't move it, don't move these, but you're going to move the pencil. So then I go 1, line that up, 2, 3. Now we said the bottom of the spray bottle is about like 2.5 to 2 3/4, so like right around there. So this is how you should start your drawing, so you get the correct proportion. So if I go that small, this is the top of the spray bottle, this is the bottom of the spray bottle. Now if I go bigger, which I hope you understand I want you to go bigger, we're going to measure it the same way. And again, it is 2.5 tall. So 2.5 of these tall. So you line up the left side of your pencil, take your fingers to the right, and then you're going to go 1, 2, 3. And remember we said 2.5 to 2 3/4, so like right around here is the bottom of the spray bottle. All right, so that's how you can start your spray bottle. Then I want to talk about simple shapes. So when you have your spray bottle, you're going to have to break it down. It's super complicated, especially the one in front of me. It's got all kinds of crazy stuff on there. So we're going to break it down and make it simpler, okay? So really, I can look at this and I can make this into a triangle, okay? I could even go straight there, and later I can add that if I need to. I could do the same with the one in front of me. The one in front of me is kind of more like a rectangle and stuff. So let's do that. Let's do a triangle, simple shape. It's a funky triangle, but it's not. Okay, simple shape. Then from here, I'm going to make this a small rectangle. And at the end of that small rectangle is an oval. So that's where the curve comes. Okay, and I can always erase that later. But we're talking simple shapes. Then off of there is another triangle. Now, because you are a super smart art student, you know that this is the front side, the side closest to us, but then there's also another side. So you can do an echo line and add that right there if it makes you feel good. We'll add all the little curves in a second. The same for underneath here. I see underneath here, you could draw those lines now if it makes you feel good, okay? Then from there, we have the nozzle. And those are just two straight lines. Well, angled straight lines. Then it goes, now this is where our brain, we are smart people. We know this is curved. We know it's really a circle or cylinder. But if you just look at it for what it is in front of us, it is just a rectangle with value on it. So I'm going to draw it that way. Just a rectangle. Then from there, you kind of have a slightly bigger rectangle. Now I'm going to leave a bit of a space here. And to figure out exactly where that goes, I can always draw a straight line and compare it to my triangle up here. So see, I was going to make it a little bit bigger, but I should not do that. So this is really a straight line. Our brains know that this is curved, but we're looking at it for what it is and the angle it's at, our perspective. You can connect those, and now it looks a little bit more rounded, even though it's just a rectangle, right? 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 You get it? Get it? Okay. All right, so then from there, I'm going to come down. Do this part. Now this can be a little tricky. We can always measure from here to here to see how, like where this ends. So I could take a measurement here. It's like 1.5. So if I do that here, it'll end right around here. So simple shapes, I did curve this. Okay. Then you're gonna do this. Well, now I feel silly because it's not the right, I went too big, right? You know what I did? I made it a little bit wider here with this guy. See, I make mistakes. It's all right. So really the reality is this is going to go off the page now. Because if I come in and I do this, that's 1. That's 1, 2. See, I'm off now. So it should come down to about here. I would much rather you have the bottle go off the page. Don't squeeze it in, okay? I could maybe always make these a little bit smaller. But we're focusing on the simple shapes right now, okay? Simple shapes. And then I can come back in and make it look a lot more specific. So once you get the simple shapes drawn, then we can start valuing. Oh wait, once we get the simple shapes drawn, then you can come in, like I just said, and be more specific. So here, I could curve this to go with this. I could erase this. Okay, then underneath here is where the trigger is, or the side of the trigger. And it curves a little bit. Simple shapes, I'm just looking at simple shapes here, breaking it down. Then there's a little hump there. So my initial drawing is not actually there anymore. I used it to help me place my shapes, but now I'm going back over and fixing any mistakes or any areas that I've looked over. So I'm going to go back to where I started, and I'm going to see here that there's this white area, and that actually comes down right around here. So then I go to where it ends, and I try and meet it in the middle. And the whole time, you should use an eraser. I don't even think. Yep. So come back in. Now you can start erasing some of your simple shapes you used. All right. I'm going to go back to where I started, right here. Come back down. I got that. Now I can add this little triangle thingy. Let's see here. I feel like that's right here. And then that leads me to this shape. I feel like this should be a little longer. And if you feel like something should be fixed, try it. See if it works. If it doesn't look good, then try something else. All right. So then from there, I just always like coming back to where I started. And there's like a little dent right there. All right, so I'm going to go back to where I started, but I'm going to come up top now. Now I'm going to finesse this line. All right, how's that looking? All right so far. I feel like this, oh, this is driving me crazy. It needs to be down and make that a little bit bigger. So much better. Just like those small little changes can really make a huge, huge difference. So I'm not able to stand over you so much. So small changes make a world of difference. All right, now I started here, I come up here, come down here, and I'm okay with all this, but you see that there's this shadow. So we should place that just for when I start to value. Something like that. Okay. Then you have this area. There is a thin lip. We can add that. And that'll really show up when I start to value. Then this thing, this might have a slight angle to it. And then you can always add in the little details. Don't go crazy with details. I think some of us stress out too much. Just a couple of those. And then you come down. And now all this can start to get a little curvy, okay? So even though I did really straight lines for my simple shapes, you can, depending on the object, of course, come in and smooth things out. Now this has a bunch of ridges. I personally am not going to over worry about all that. I mean, I can draw a couple, but when you value, when you see me value, you'll notice. And then you come down here, add a line or two. Now again, I really think my bottle is squeezed in here. I'm not super happy about that. Don't squeeze your bottle in. If you screwed up like me, pretend like it goes down to the bottom. You know what? I could even do that. Let's do it. Oh, my video is about to be too long. All right, I'm going to end it here and we'll start again in a second.